August is now over and we have, let me check real quick, almost 20 matchups to talk about today. Jesus. Just so I keep my sanity and so this video doesn't end up like over an hour long, I may spark notes this a bit. I'll try to respect everyone's pitches though, so I won't skip casts entirely, well, except one instance. But let's just start this thing with our only 4 death battle casts. Number 4, Goblin Slayer vs. Laus Totem. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what the connections are. I've searched around and come up with nothing, and my lack of general knowledge leaves me a bit confused by the premise. They do both hunt monsters for different reasons, but I don't know anything past that. Chad repped Goblin Slayer and Aaron repped Laus. We honestly didn't get much here, especially on Laus's end. He has a living sword that can see danger. He has a mithril knife that will cut through anything and a cooking pot shield that can block dragon fire. Impressive, but Goblin Slayer is just so much more equipped for a fight like this. He has knives, bows, great hammers, toxic gases, can breathe underwater, and use scrolls that make gates to certain locations, like a teleport point. One gate is set to the bottom of an ocean, so if he opens it, it'll create a burst of water that will tear apart foes. To which Aaron countered this by saying Laus could use his water walking spell to avoid getting ripped apart. Very nice interaction, Aaron, good job. But I can't see Laus winning this. Goblin Slayer just has way too many weapons and is way more skilled in combat. Laus can think on the fly, but Goblin Slayer does that better in my opinion. He can use anything he can get his hands on to kill an opponent, and Laus just isn't that flexible. This is the first matchup in a while that I struggle to understand much. Pitcher, please find this video and fill me in, because if I knew more, I would probably rank this higher. But until then, it's gotta be last place. Number 3, Mr. Fantastic vs. Mr. Terrific. These two are geniuses that are proficient in every form of science. They are both some of the smartest people within their universes. Both started teams of 4 people. Both have a crazy amount of gadgets that they invented. They both have guilt about their pasts that guide them as heroes, etc. Mr. Terrific and Fantastic are paired together a lot, but who actually wins in a fight? Let's find out. Liam reps Mr. Terrific and Javier reps Mr. Fantastic. I barely know anything about either character, so this is pretty exciting for me. I know these two are extremely smart. Mr. Fantastic created the Solve Everything plan, which is what it sounds like. He made a plan that solves every potential problem. Mr. Terrific pretty much knows everything, and his tech is crazy. Both his and Fantastic's tech can't be hacked. He has T-spheres, which are floating spheres that Terrific controls telepathically. These spheres can generally harm people, create black holes, explode, create hard light, create force fields, and even harm Kryptonians. Terrific can coat his body in these T-spheres to make himself stronger, faster, and more durable. Mr. Fantastic can stretch his body, and that's it. I'm just kidding. Mr. Fantastic can nullify containment fields, has guns that harm Celestials, has a Galactus mech, and even has the ultimate nullifier. I feel like this fight is more complicated than the cast shows, but based on what they talked about, I think Fantastic wins. Terrific is a master martial artist, can create boom tubes that kill people on contact, and even has the T-Infinity, which will generate an endless amount of timelines until Terrific wins. But the nullifier would just erase Terrific before he can use any of that. And since Fantastic can pause time for 4 minutes, he has plenty of opportunities to use it and end the fight for good. I think after Hulk vs. Godzilla ended with the smarter combatant winning, we should see something that really pushes that aspect. And this matchup fits things quite nicely. A great matchup with amazing potential. Number 2, Lugia vs. Mothra. Bet you didn't see this one ranking this high. These two are giant creatures that protect the Earth from great threats with extremely powerful elemental abilities. It's simple, but I love this idea. It sounds so fun. Liam reps Mothra and Ben reps Lugia. There are a lot of ways these two defenders are comparable. When Mothra flaps its wings, it creates a gust of massive wind pressure. When Lugia flaps his wings, it creates tsunamis. Lugia can use different water, flying, and psychic type attacks, but Mothra has a plethora of abilities on its own. Mothra can shoot lightning, bounce energy attacks back at Lugia, use pollen to poison or paralyze foes, increase its speed, shoot energy beams from its antenna, use its scales to bind opponents. Essentially, Mothra has plenty of ways to harm Lugia. Lugia can up its crit rate, shoot a bunch of beams at the same time in multiple directions, recover its health, negate status effects, can predict foes and counterattack with foresight, and manifest its own force field. There's a lot they didn't bring up for this cast for Lugia, but I still think he wins. It can resist Mothra's Milky Whip, has plenty of ways to deal with Mothra when it splits into smaller creatures, and Lugia can take any attack Mothra could throw. They talk about whether they can use Dark Lugia or Mothra Leo in this debate, but I personally think those are different characters, so I wouldn't include them. But I like this a lot. We need more giant monster fights in Death Battle, and this is a prime contender for me. It's unique and charming, and I can't wait till it gets made. And number 1, Noelle Vermillion vs. Kiana Kazlana. These two are both artificial clones of two girls that were created to combat the universe's strongest forces. They are both raised by adoptive parents and they learn combat through different military academies, both being manipulated inside academies by the enemy forces to serve their purposes. This is really fun and I fell in love with this immediately. Liam reps Noelle and John Mitchell reps Kiana. I love this debate since they seem so even. They both can even do very similar yet different things. Both of them can cancel out any attack levied against them. They can both take away powers and resist power nullification. They are both great at gunplay and their guns bypass defenses. Noelle has dual guns that can transform into a minigun, rocket launchers, etc. Noelle's bullets cut through space to hit a person directly, and her attacks can't be healed since it attacks the soul itself. Kiana's guns tear through space and time and also negate regeneration, meaning again, Noelle can get killed by this. I would argue that Kiana is better with her powers since she can take away infinity, but Noelle still might be able to resist this, so who knows. Calling the winner is hard, really hard, but I'm gonna have to give it to Noelle because of Mu 12. This form gives Noelle blade arms, teleportation, future sight, time stop, force field creation, and mind reading. To be fair, Kiana can also see and manipulate fate, but I think Noelle just might be a bit too powerful. But honestly, I can see this going either way. They didn't do a great job debating this, in terms of they didn't go over a lot of details, but you should just see the conversation about this matchup that's shown up after the fact. Trust me, just look on Reddit or anywhere you can find people talking about this matchup, and you will see how fun it is. I've wanted a good Noelle matchup for a while, and this one really clicked with me. What a wonderful way to end the month of August. Now we move over to the fan battle casts, and I will be covering most of the matchups they discuss, except for one. Benry from Half-Life VR AI versus the Devil from the Snapcube series. Yes, I know it's technically the Devil from the Bible, but like, no. This was a drunk cast, so I initially thought they wouldn't talk about much, but they did discuss a good amount. But who cares about this? You couldn't pay me to give a single solitary fuck about these characters. I do have a soft spot for Spamton versus Coomer, but that's really just because Saul's my boy and I want to make him happy. Now, there is something interesting about this. They both seem to be extremely hard to kill, and this could end in a tie. But, nah, not worth my time. Let's move on to something more interesting. Number 11, Wild Tiger versus Mr. Incredible. Both are heroes who struggle having to balance their hero life and their family life in worlds where heroes aren't typically seen as the same thing as you would find in a Marvel or DC comic. With Wild Tiger being corporate-backed and Mr. Incredible being looked down upon because of how hero society treats him. This matchup is interesting and I need to learn more. Rand reps Mr. Incredible and Kai reps Wild Tiger. They have some equipment, but these guys just punch really hard at the end of the day. Mr. Incredible has a bulletproof suit that can withstand harsh temperatures. An Incredible Mobile, which has a stealth radar, can go underwater and rocket launchers to fire at enemies. But Tiger can throw semi-trucks with ease, and that's a direct counter to the car, honestly. He has a suit that is immune to fire and resist cutting. It can scan the arena and identify helpful info on how to defeat enemies. So even if Mr. Incredible was stealthy, it wouldn't help him much here. Tiger has a motorcycle that is faster than anything Incredible has seen, a grappling hook to let him swing around, and should scale to around city block and strength. Mr. Incredible wins though, just because he's so much stronger and so much more durable. He can tank 100,000 volts of electricity, can punch fast enough to create shockwaves, and scales to about town level. This is a very simple matchup, but not horrible. I don't know how you would find a good matchup for these two, so at least for now, it's my preference for both. Moving on to number 10. Superman versus Princess Celestia. Two insanely powerful solar-powered inspirational figures within their own verses. They both constantly have to make sure they keep their powers from corrupting themselves, both eventually fighting evil versions of themselves that fell into that temptation. It's an interesting matchup with an odd debate. Jobber, my boy, reps Superman, and Noah reps Celestia. Let's be real, we all know Superman. He can fly, has heat vision, infinitely fast and practically infinitely powerful, but has a weakness for magic. Well, maybe not a weakness, but he doesn't have a resistance to magic. What does Celestia fight with? Oh yeah, magic. Fuck. Celestia can create objects, can come back from practically nothing, can fully heal herself, can seal away memories, and has the element of harmony, which can do practically anything, even potentially turning Superman to stone. She scales pretty well to Superman in strength and speed, and they both power up using the sun. Celestia can move or block the sun, but Superman could just find another one. Celestia could seal away Superman's memories, but Superman can resist mind manipulation. Celestia can hit someone so hard that their children feel it, while Superman can hit someone so hard that every single version of themselves will feel it. There's a lot of parallels, but I think Superman's experience takes this. He can get around anything Celestia can throw at him and just hit her so hard that she wouldn't be able to come back from it. And if nothing else works, Superman could just lobotomize Celestia. Although she could just probably heal it, but whatever. It's interesting, and I'm not gonna lie, I do like this matchup a bit. I mean, I'm not clamoring for it, but it's kinda cool after watching this. If you decide to bring Superman back, maybe consider this one. You may like it more than you'd think. Number 9, Zangief vs. King. These two are very well-renowned and powerful grapplers within their own series, both of them fighting to benefit the youth in their own ways. Not too deep in terms of connections, but Tekken vs Street Fighter is an iconic staple, so I think it carries this through. UX repped King and Sherm repped Zangief. This is really simple, thank God. They are both grapplers, so their fighting is very straightforward. Zangief can do things like parry projectiles, which King wouldn't have. He can become invincible for a time, and he can adapt to fighters and replicate moves, however that works. King can create a tornado by spinning someone, can also replicate moves, and is most likely stronger and faster. I don't have anything else to add here. This matchup comes down to getting into the nitty-gritty of these characters and really nailing down their stats and weaknesses. There's a long conversation about a potential M. Bison Moon feat, but it's very contested and does kind of lean on shaky ground. I think an even deeper dive into this is necessary, but it is a matchup that is really fun. We don't need complexity to have a good matchup, just two badass people that love to wrestle. Number 8, Riku vs Illidan. These two have struggled with their dark side, joining the forces of good after being corrupted by evil, retaining their knowledge, abilities, and experience from those times. This one is a bit confusing and the cast itself goes all over the place, but I'm gonna try and simplify the arguments for my own sanity. Kagurabachi reps Illidan and Rand reps Riku. Starting with their normal weaponry, Riku has a Keyblade. This Keyblade is very powerful, allowing him to kill strong beings like the Heartless and Nobodies, as well as gives him the ability to fire and amplify magic. Riku has fire, lightning, ice, even light and dark magic under his control, with a few crazy spells I'll save for later. Illidan is a magic swordsman, specializing in demonic magic and having some sort of arcane magic in the past. He knows chaos magic, which can bypass armor, shoot darkness, drain mana, cast curses, and summon demons. Riku is, of course, very experienced with fighting multiple foes. He has a near-endless supply of mana, has items and a spell that will heal himself, can coat his body in darkness to phase through attacks, can heal himself by attacking enemies, and bind certain enemies in place. Now, Illidan can siphon magic from people, but since Riku has an endless supply of magic, this would just keep the battle going forever. What's more damning is Illidan's ability to absorb souls and his ability to make mana explode. He could just blow up Riku every single time his mana recharges. Riku can BFR and teleport himself to the Dark World, and Illidan can create portals himself. Illidan has Flame Source that will summon fire elementals, can drain the life from an opponent, and has an ability called Singe, which burns away any magic effect done to his body. They can both fly, but Illidan's is likely much better. They can both revive from death, Illidan awaking in a certain realm and Riku having items to instantly revive himself from death. They can both heal themselves, but Riku is immune to damage while he's healing. They both have the ability to alter time. They both create very powerful barriers and both can bind people in place. Illidan with a Shadow Prism that will nullify any magic his enemy has, and Riku with his magnet or gravity spells, setting Illidan up to have meteors thrown at him or having Riku pummel Illidan with one of the many elements that he can coat his Keyblade with. The winner is Illidan though. Riku can make giant energy blades, shoot energy blades at people, can even remove their hearts, but Illidan is far more experienced and can only die in the Twisted Nether, something that Riku would not be able to figure out. I think this matchup is fun, but I have to say there was a lot I disagreed with this one on the Kingdom Hearts side. Like how the importance of the power of waking is to this fight and claims like Keyblades harming non-existent beings. I've talked about this stuff in the past though, so I won't harp on them here. I think this is just a fun fight that I find perfectly okay. Number 7, Ruto vs Chihiro. These two both fight to avenge their fallen father figure, and they both cherish the items they fight with since they were created by said father figures. Quite a different matchup, but fun nonetheless. Croat reps Ruto and Kagurabachi reps Chihiro. As someone who doesn't know anything about either character, I think this cast let me know enough about this matchup. It's a fight of swords versus trash. Ruto can transmute trash into objects. He can make things like a keyboard that shoots out missiles that home in. He can create a giant dryer, has an AoE attack that lets him turn a paintbrush into massive spikes, can create chains and turn a tire into a spike wheel. Chihiro is a typical swordsman with some unique abilities. He's the enchanted blade Entei. With this, he can summon Kuro, a spirit-like shadow entity that takes the form of a goldfish. Kuro can spy on people, cut them in half, can be used as a platform for Chihiro, can split into a bunch of goldfish that cut people down, and can cut people with pinpoint precision. Chihiro is much smarter than Ruto, but Ruto has Toon Force durability apparently, while Chihiro has good general endurance. Rudo can use his gloves to create small and large attacks with 3 different charges. These charges vary in power, and can be combined for devastating effects. Chihiro has more than his fish though. He can buff his stats, can create a smokescreen to get away, and has a sword called Cloud Gauger, which lets Rudo use ice and electric elemental attacks. This is almost equal in my eyes. They can both rip each other apart, both should cap at similar speeds, and both have crazy defensive equipment. Rudo has the Amulet of Protection, which will move an enemy right before impact so that Rudo never gets hit, while Chihiro has Akka, which will absorb every attack and send it right back at the attacker. It's hard, but I think Chihiro wins. He has a less versatile ability set, but he is very skilled and can take on anything Rudo has. I also think his form of protection is better as well. This is surprisingly fun though. Let's get that new gen representation in Death Battle, please. No more of these 100-year-old DC characters. We've had enough. Moving on. Number 6, Reptile vs. Riptor. These two are deadly creatures that fight in tournaments along with otherworldly creatures and powerful humans, both being some of the last of their kinds. Zoro reps Reptile and Strange Fate reps Riptor. This is another easy fight to discuss. Sweet. Reptile is a ninja and practices martial arts. He has Scorpion's kunai, a sword, can split acid, turn invisible, and rip off limbs. Riptor is a lizard that will attack with its claws, teeth, and cybernetic tail. Riptor can also spit acid as well as spit and breathe fire. Unlike Reptile, Riptor can use items to help him in the fight. Riptor has items that let him track the location of others, which would help him with Reptile's invisibility. She has items that will make her immune to damage, heal herself, revive, and boost her stats. Riptor seems like the easy victor here, but Reptile has this in my eyes. This all comes down to the acid they spit. Riptor just shoots acid and that's it. Reptile can shoot acid, harden it on a person's face, vomit a pool on the ground which will immediately start melting people or at the very least slow them down. Essentially, he's more versatile, so I think Reptile wins. The stats conversation in this cast was a bit all over the place, so I kind of just discounted some things, but overall, I think they should be about even in stats. It's hard to say if these guys should fight each other or Lizardman from Soul Calibur, but I think in terms of this fight here, it works really well and can be really brutal, a matchup I hope to see in the future. Number 5, Boa Hancock vs. Medusa. These are two women who are known for being beautiful. Both are from a trio of sisters. They were dealt a horrible past that left them secluded on a private island. They both gained a hatred for certain humans because of their past, and both lived their lives to protect their sisters. There's a lot of cool connections here, and a very interesting fight dynamic to think about. Moloch repped Boa, and I Am the Table repped Medusa. Boa has a big fight ahead of her. Fate Cosmology ain't no joke, but she can hold her own pretty well. Her main ability is turning people into stone, and she can do this in multiple ways. She can throw this heart-shaped energy blast at foes to stonify them, but that only works if they find Boa cute in some way. If that doesn't work, Boa can fire energy arrows at foes to solidify them as well, and these arrows don't only work on people but objects as well. Medusa can also turn people to stone, but she can do a lot more on the outset. She can shoot lasers, control minds, melt people into magic, and her divinity would let her bypass defenses. This would be hard for Boa to contend with if she didn't have multiple forms of Haki. Boa has Observation Haki, which lets her sense and predict people. She has Armament Haki, which coats parts of her body with black, hard Haki. This makes her attacks and abilities much more powerful and durable. And finally, Conqueror's Haki, which forces her will onto others, subjugating those with weaker wills, and it can also increase her attack by combining this with Armament Haki. I don't think Boa can win this though. They both have snakes that can paralyze or even kill people, and I think Boa does have a physical advantage for sure. But Medusa has her Noble Phantasm. This summons a Pegasus that she rides into the sky, and lets her crash down into a massive beam of light. I think the attack is just too fast and too strong for Boa to deal with. And I think Medusa is just so much stronger than Boa that Boa's defense wouldn't help much here. I think this matchup is fun. I've liked it for a long time. I know people have issues with this matchup because of some toxic things that surround the DBX when it came out, but don't let that stuff harm your personal enjoyment of a matchup. That's why I still like Karumi vs. Homura after that pitch kinda got ratioed. I like what I like, and nothing will stop that for me. Number 4, the Huntrix vs. the Dazzling. The connections of this matchup can be summed up as these two teams use singing to fight their foes and power themselves up. There's a lot of really minor things I could talk about, but that's the main connection. Darklore reps the Huntrix and Moloch reps the Dazzling. These two both get more powerful as they get cheered on from their fans, but they do have some key differences. The Huntrix can do things like seal darkness, can teleport, can purify corruption, can depower others and draw out the souls of their fans to power themselves up. The Dazzling use a necklace to harness their powers. They create dragon specters that harness their magic and shoot blasts of sound. The Huntrix seem like a clear winner, but I disagree. The Dazzling can control minds with their music, but the Huntrix can resist mind control, as well as have the Hanmoon Cane, which can most likely harm the Dazzling and let the Huntrix summon other weapons. But the Dazzling should be way more experienced and way faster. The Huntrix may have a lot of musical advantages, but pure stats-wise, they just can't compare. This could be a cool music battle. something we've never had before. But let's just wait for more K-pop demon hunters to try to put these guys in a fight. It seems like they just need a little bit more content. Number 3, Ainz Gon versus Arc Lalatoya. These are two people who essentially got isekai'd into games that we're currently playing, becoming overpowered characters that maxed out their level system within their games. Albane reps Ainz and Rand reps Arc. I like this debate because you can break it down into 3 categories: general knowledge / stats, summons, and magic. For general info, Ainz is an undead lich that specializes in dark magic. Ainz can use any spell in his world: elemental, neurotic, holy, and undead magic. Ainz can steal the life force from a person, is near light speed, and has multiple swords as well as a dark hero form. Arc is also an undead, specializing in wielding magical swords as well as some light magic on the side. His armor resists dark magic and he should be similar speeds as Ainz, but so much stronger. Arc wins this category. Next we have summons. Ainz has a lot of things to summon: Death Knights, Soul Eaters, High Wraiths, the Death Emperor, 6 Cherubins, and so much more. Arc can summon creatures like Ifrit, Aeon, and Michael, but all Arc's summons really do is strong elemental magic, while Ainz has summons that will manipulate fear, can phase through objects, and kill anything they touch. Aeon has some time warping shenanigans, but Ainz has magic that warps magic as well, so I think Ainz wins this category, leaving just their magic. Arc can create a black hole, can block out enemy summons, become invisible, negate his own weakness, and multiple AoE spells to deal with Ainz's army. While Ainz has magic that lets him use every spell, gives him resistance to every magic type, and even has an item to turn his dreams into reality. Ainz has this, guys, hands down. But it is an interesting fight, I'll say. This crawled its way up to being my second favorite alt for Ainz, and that's really saying something. We need a good undead fight to happen on Death Battle, and this right now is the best choice. Number 2, Jolyne Cujoh versus Mayday Parker. These are the children of 2 of the main protagonists of their series that learn to fight because of villains who carry over the wills of the villains that their parents had to fight. This is really interesting and really fun. Plus, cool Mayday representation. Gotta love it. Here we have Saul rep Mayday and Jobber rep Jolyne. Jolyne? Jolene's power is called Stone Free. It's a stand that's essentially made of wire. Stands are kinda like ghosts that fight for a person if you didn't know. Kinda like a persona. The stand can fight hand to hand or unravel its body to attack people, strangling them with an invisible wire they can't see or react to. Well, that would be if she wasn't facing Mayday. Mayday has an incredible spider sense, letting her sense danger to an insane degree. Plus, Mayday can do a lot with her webbing. Create web shields, block electricity, blast opponents backwards, and just casually swing around. Now, Jolene's wire can pass through matter and could destroy Mayday's heart, but Mayday would just sense that and move away. Plus, Mayday has her stingers that will stab into Jolyne, has a sonic cannon, can magnetize herself and others to surfaces, and is most likely much stronger. Jolyne just doesn't have what it takes to win this though. She has her advantages with her stand phasing through matter and her ability to turn into wire herself, but Mayday is just way too strong, too fast, and has so many advantages to take the win. I was kind of hoping Jolyne could take this, but I don't think so. Miles just lost in Death Battle. Let's see Mayday take back that spider honor. And number 1, Shinichi and Migi versus Hikaru and Alma. They were both normal people before alien-like creatures came to their planet, bonding to their arms and changed them both mentally and physically, giving them some major fighting prowess. Moloch rep Shinichi and Migi, and Rand rep Hikaru and Alma. This one is actually pretty interesting. Shinichi has a parasite in his hand. This parasite can stretch and morph into different blades and weapons. Migi has a 360-degree view around Shinichi, so it's very hard to catch him off guard. Migi can split apart from Shinichi and fight on its own for a while. He gets dumber every second, but he's still deadly. Migi can enter another person's body and crush their heart or even just control them. This doesn't leave Shinichi defendless though. Because of their connection, Shinichi becomes way stronger and much faster. Hikaru and Alma are also conjoined by the arm. Alma can extend its arm to give it better range, deliver a rocket punch, can become a sword, guns, and rockets, just like Migi. Like Migi, Alma doesn't need to be attached to Hikaru's body. Alma can grow to giant sizes and deliver deadly attacks, but the larger the arm becomes, the slower it is. I think Shinichi wins this. There's a possibility he may be slower, but Migi is just too deadly. Plus, when conjoined, Shinichi and Migi won't lose their cool, keeping a calm head the whole fight. Migi would also go for the kill immediately, giving them a better chance to land a deadly blow first. But isn't this one interesting? I've been a Shinichi versus Ken Kaneki guy for a while, but this matchup overtakes it. It's a fun idea with some cool thematics. Plus, Parasite the Maxima is just awesome. Go watch it now. And that was August. Sorry I sped through things, there's just a lot I want to do, and there was 16 casts to go through and talk about. September will be a much easier month for me, but in any case, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you pitched a matchup, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, have a wonderful day and take care. And I guess don't forget to subscribe, because we have to say that now. Bye.